Welcome, sentient beings from all known universes and beyond. It's time to activate your cranial downlinks and prepare to receive a raft of discussion on a cosmic ocean of science fiction and fantasy topics, interviews with local area genre devotees, and insightful prognostication by our soothsayers of science fiction, our forecasters of fantasy, and any other beings that happen to get caught in our gravity well. This is the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another Galactic Driftwood episode. I'm chuckling because I was watching Seth and Chris and me and Linda dance to the music.
Oh my God.
Which Chris was quite awesome. He's like,
He's like doing the sprinkler, the whole
one of these days, Bill, you're going to actually just have to record that and put it out without telling us.
Yes.
The outtakes.
Deleted scene for our Patreon.
Right.
Oh.
All right. Well, I'm Bill.
Linda.
I'm Charles.
Hey, I'm Seth.
I'm Jenna.
I'm Chris.
And on this episode, we're going to talk about the movie 65, which stars Adam Driver, that man, Hulk of a mountain man.
As John Oliver put it.
Yeah, as John Oliver likes to call him.
John Oliver has many different things to call Adam Driver.
He does indeed. So that movie stars Adam Driver, as I mentioned. There's a young child actor in that. Ariana Greenblatt plays the character of Koa. And I'll just start with a quick synopsis of that movie. So after a catastrophic crash on an unknown planet, pilot Mills quickly discovers he's actually stranded. Well, I don't know if he discovers that. It says he quickly discovers he's stranded on Earth 65 million years ago. But that would have been before Earth.
There's no context. Yeah, there's no context in the timing. Yeah.
He doesn't know where he's stranded.
Yeah, the audience knows it's Earth 65 million years ago, but he wouldn't know that. To him,
he didn't even know there was a meteor belt there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
we know that.
The conceit of this film is that there were other starfaring civilizations before mankind even arose.
Right.
And this is one of them who just happened to visit.
They happened to be passing through, right, and hit an unexpected meteor swarm, which damaged his ship, and he crashed on Earth. 65 million years ago. If any of you are fans of Jurassic Park, you'll know what the Earth was like then.
Why would the computer just take them into a? I don't get that at all.
What?
Why would the computer just take them into the? It's like, oh, look at asteroid field. Okay, let's go ahead.
No, he took over piloting the ship to get them out of the asteroid field.
Yeah,
but the computer took them in.
Yeah, it was on autopilot to cause the accident in the first place.
Oh, right.
We'll get into this, but we'll talk about the technology. I have an explanation for that, but please continue.
Okay.
Yeah,
even then, why didn't he have a co-pilot?
Right.
We'll get into that too.
Yeah, because
okay, hold on. Everybody stop. Bill, finish this synopsis.
Okay. All right. So anyway, they crash land on Earth. It's 65 million years in the past, and now they've got one chance at rescue. The ship had an emergency escape craft in the hold, and that has the ship broke up on entry into the Earth. Jenna, you're shrinking. And
sorry, continue, Bill.
And when it did, the part of the ship containing the emergency escape craft landed about 15 kilometers away from where the main part of the ship landed, which leads for makes for an interesting adventure as they try to make their way across an unknown terrain riddled with dangerous prehistoric creatures. Do we actually know that the dinosaurs didn't have history?
Well, they wouldn't be prehistoric then.
What's that?
Prehistoric refers to our history, not theirs.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
And it is something of a misnomer since they're still part of history.
Right. Right.
Well,
Because
it's
we've recorded.
I think the historian here would tell us prehistoric means before written history.
written writing, yes.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Chris.
So 15 kilometers, roughly 10 miles for those that need a conversion. But I wanted to go back to, this whole autopilot steering them into a meteoroid field.
Yeah.
And I just want to, let's look at Tesla autopilot. Not perfect. Does some things, but has some problems. All right. This is not like they don't depict this when we talk about this. And we're going to talk about this in this film. And Bill linked a great article in one of our internal chats of the technology and how it's displayed in this film could be a very good example for other films that they need to take lessons of, which is the technology is not perfect. It's still very tangible. It's still very tactile in terms of touch, but it's still advanced. And in this, Adam Driver is having to utilize what technology he has left after this crash to kind of navigate this 15 kilometers or 10 miles to get to the ship with this little girl while trying to protect them. Well, the autopilot thing, I kind of took it as it. Well, let me give you some context that wasn't covered in the synopsis. The reason Adam Driver was on this ship was to earn some extra money because he had a sick daughter. That context is very important in this film, and understanding who he is and some of the actions that he takes.
And
so he goes,
Chris,
yeah.
Might we just inject here the fact that apparently they have the same medical financial arrangement as we do here on modern day Earth?
Yeah. So even though there's all this advanced technology, things like needing money to pay for a very sick daughter is still a thing. So he takes what equates to like a long haul driver type job. So he's going to be gone for a couple of years. He's going to haul some stuff across the galaxy and then come back. And some people whatever. And during that is when the autopilot unfortunately leads them into an asteroid field, and he has to take over to try and navigate out of it, and shit hits the fan and they end up crashing on what we know as Earth. For him, it's just, I don't know, planet whatever.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happens with that. But it's interesting because what was it? The language translation things are broken, so he's having trouble communicating with the young girl. So they don't all speak languages. Huh?
It was an interesting touch to have that language.
Yeah, so there's issues communicating that he has with the young girl. Unfortunately, the girl doesn't know what she wants to do. She's looking for her family, and he doesn't have the heart to tell her that, your parents are dead. So instead what he says is, hey, if we can get to this escape pod, that's where your parents are at. But he's got to get this girl to come with him because it's not safe. And we think the whole time, kind of leading up to the film, and spoiler warnings, that he's gonna complete this. You assume by the time we get to the end of the film, maybe he escapes, maybe they get off this planet, and he makes it home, and he can afford to pay for his daughter's healthcare thing. Well, Koa, the young girl that's with him, starts snooping through his things a little bit and is watching a series of videos that he got sent while they were on this journey. And in the very videos that he gets sent, you see his daughter continues to get worse and worse while he's gone. And then we come to find out that she died while he was away. They weren't able to help her, and they didn't get the medicine to nurse her back to health. And what was an interesting thing I felt in this film was the fact that when he first crash lands, he starts contemplating, it's all over, it's done, I should just kill myself and be done with it. But I felt like he gets the second win when he has this young girl Koa to start taking care of, that he feels this preservation need. I have to protect this child. I couldn't
surrogate for his own daughter.
Yeah, so I couldn't help my own daughter, but I can help this girl. And so throughout the film, there's that bond that kind of gets built, I think, a little bit. Even though the girl kind of might not, I don't know if she's mature enough to understand what he went through and the loss of his own daughter or anything in that aspect, but she sees the videos and can see all the way up to the point where we learn that she dies.
Mhm.
And so I thought that was a very, for a film with few words, needed to be spoken between the two main people on this planet, because there's that language barrier. There was a lot of ways they managed to convey emotion, and I thought Adam Driver did a phenomenal job on that, as well as the young girl that played Koa. I thought it was phenomenal. So I'll shut up from there, but wanted some context in that background of the story.
Yeah,
So,
no, that was good.
Yeah, Chris, to your point, specifically, the computer tells him it was an uncharted
Yes.
asteroid field. And I mean, if you really think about it, like, space is really, really, really big.
Yeah.
And so, like, 99.9% of the time, if you've got a chart and you chart a course, like,
especially over
you know
2
you're
years.
gonna make it.
Yeah, especially over like a 2-year journey, shit's gonna change. Things are colliding. Things might be
But
exploding,
wouldn't you
changing
think
the.
that
If you're an interstellar, civilization, like, you would chart a path that would plan for all of that, assuming your charts are good.
Yeah, but wouldn't you also have like at least some sort of rudimentary radar that would look ahead and tell you of obstacles in your path?
Once again, if you're cheaping out and you only have one pilot for the whole trip, maybe you cut a little bit of the, like, you've got to pay a subscription for the AI navigator, and
That's
like,
a Class A ship you're talking about there, Bill. This could have
But-
just been a Class D runner or something, you know?
like, if
I suppose. But I mean, I would
99
think there would be some sort of governmental regulation that says if you're going to fly with only a single pilot, then you have to pay the extra to have the radar.
But
So we can't
no,
even sort
What
that
are
out
you,
today
Bill,
with
some sort of
semi-truck drivers.
hippie communist?
hey, no, let me speak to this. We're talking about running trains here in the U.S. with only one crew member.
Yeah. Yep.
It has been a push stating that AI and all of these technology, new technology can take care of a train to make sure that one crew member can do it and it'll be perfectly fine. So if he has a heart attack, or she, or they have a diabetic seizure, the points along will say, well, that engineer hasn't touched the button to keep it going, so it'll slow down on its own and it'll be fine. There won't be any problems. So that is not a far-fetched thing to say that, there's enough technology, we're good with one person.
Yeah, but still, you've got in the case of the trains that you were mentioning, right? You've got this technology that's at least monitoring to see if there's activity from the engineer on board.
I think in this, it shows that the technology, even for interstellar civilization, that is capable of interstellar travel, is not perfect, right?
Yeah, right.
And that's what I enjoyed about it, because we're spoiled to a degree of what we see in our Star Trek realms, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Where we push so far into the advancement that we have a hard time bridging it with our own reality today. And I think, in that article that you linked, Bill, they kind of talk to that a little bit.
Yeah.
Of what that maybe looks like.
Maybe if you cross this, I mean, we're used to the way we do things, but I heard that story about it's Vladimir Komarov, the Russian astronaut that came back to Earth, so to speak. Maybe he's from a culture like that. The KGB is just, they know that there's something wrong with the ship, but they're not going to do anything about it.
Well, I mean, that would be more like, what if it was kind of like an Uber kind of thing, where
Uber,
they just like give him a ship, he pilots it. He doesn't know if it's maintained or not.
Yeah, it could be. But again, that was what I appreciated about it. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't like you just press a button and it gets fixed. Like, he manually had to do something and step in and then try and figure it out. And after they crash landed, it was like, well, this is what I have left to work with, even down to what Linda just had up. That wasn't like a tricorder that we're usually seeing where someone just holds up with one hand.
Right.
Like, he has to like let go of his rifle in a very dangerous place and like manipulate this thing with both hands, and it's still a big clunky thing. It's not like this little thing, and he's got to like, he's moving it around, and he was very, very tangible, and it just shows like we're part of this interstellar, civilization, but we still have these things,
these
that
tactile
have
machines.
challenges. I think it was more realistic versus what we see in a lot of sci-fi films today.
I think, though, even something like, bring that picture back up, Linda, that you just had up. Even if they'd had something like that built into the ship, so that it could, so this thing, not that one, the other picture.
I just work with it.
Okay. Well, anyway,
it's the same device, but yeah.
Yeah. So he's holding up this device, and it basically creates a 3D hologram of what the device is seeing going on around it, I guess.
Yes.
Because at a later point in the show, well, in this section that we're seeing him in now, he's fighting a dinosaur, and we see that thing gets kind of dropped on the ground, and we see him and the dinosaur in combat, but we're watching it from the perspective of the 3D hologram.
Yeah, which was actually a really cool way to do a fight scene kind of thing going on, because it's pitch black in this cave.
Right.
And so he's having to fight this raptor-like creature in this cave, and you're seeing it from the perspective of the scanner, of what the scanner's picking up happening in the room. So it's just like, oh no, what's happening? What's going on?
Right. And you're just hearing the screeches and stuff. Yeah.
It was,
that was pretty
a phenomenal way to do a fight scene.
But now, so to our point about the technology, though, if you remember the end of the film where they're in that escape pod and it falls down the mountain and it gets all kinds of damage going on, and you've got Tyrannosauruses bashing the damn thing, and they finally dispatch the Tyrannosaurs, and the escape pod miraculously gets knocked upright, and then it says executing auto repair.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's got this advanced technology
to some level,
it can automatically repair.
But that doesn't
itself.
mean it can automatically repair itself, or maybe something happened there. But it doesn't mean that it can solve all our problems. It doesn't mean that that the automatic, just because we can do an automatic repair for one thing, that even in IT infrastructure today, we have self-healing things. But you're also assuming that radar gives the ship permission to maybe change a path that it just approves itself without human interaction. For all we know, it has radar. It sees the meteor field. All it knows is you're supposed to escalate this up to a human to come in and make a decision on what we want to do, as opposed to we're just going to navigate around. And let's say it extends let's say you have an option that extends it by a month, or let's say 3 months, or maybe the only way around it is a year worth of travel. It can't make that. It might not be able to make that decision on what's best.
Right.
I will
would be my argument for it.
Yeah.
Also, consider that he would have been traveling at or above relativistic velocities. It's going to take a little bit of time to pump the brakes, even if you've detected it far enough out.
Well, I don't know, because he grabbed the hand controls of that thing and was able to manipulate that ship pretty quick and turn out of the asteroid field.
I could kind of assume that it had been slowing down for a while.
So
I will say that these movies have shown us that ain't nobody gonna probably go into deep space successfully without a force field technology.
Right.
Because all the space shit, all the little stuff.
It shows that we're spoiled by force fields.
It's only near planetary systems that you actually have to worry about that. Like most of space is
just
phenomenally empty.
Yeah.
Like you'd need some shielding against radiation and microparticles, but
yeah, to even get out, if we're going to go see other planets, you're going to have to go through that at some point.
Right.
So either there has to be a new development of metal that can take that is not phenomenally heavy, or we're going to need force fields.
Right.
So
because like that intro definitely took me back to Pitch Black, the very first one.
Mm-hmm.
It was done really well too.
Yeah. So that's just one of the problems associated with getting us to space. Another being we'd need artificial gravity, which we see in the movie, and we'd need a way to survive the cosmic radiation, which we don't have. But yeah, so the movie is was kind of overall review for me. Really good movie. I hated it.
You hated the movie?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was just so rough on poor Adam Driver.
Oh,
I enjoyed that fact because it wasn't like he had these weapons that made him untouchable or whatever. These dinosaurs were kicking his ass. The environment.
No,
was
it's
kicking
not
his
even
ass.
that. It's just that so many bad things happen to him.
Yep.
And he's hurt so many times in so many different
He
ways.
just barely survived.
Well,
And he
It's
does
like-
such a good job of like
He
gritting
does.
his teeth and like making you feel that he's in pain.
Yeah.
like there's a lot of little points to me in this movie that tell you this man is a pilot. He is not a wilderness individual. Like his character is not. Like, let's hang out near a source of water. Let's sleep right near a source of water where obviously other animals are going to come and drink. No.
Well, Jenna, that's another one of my comments on the movie is clearly the makers of this movie didn't really know much about nature or how the world would have worked.
Or feather dinosaurs.
But you can only. Here's the thing. All right. We can only
But
go
that's
so
good.
far to make a movie for entertainment and whatever, and taking into
Right.
account every little detail about an environment or whatever. It's like, how do
Well,
we make the story work? And
I'm not
ignore-
talking about a
certain
little
things.
detail. I'm talking. What I'm saying is he specifically landed in Predator fucking Valley,
Yes.
where there was every single carnivorous dinosaur in the world at the time, all trying to go and eat him. And there wasn't a single herbivore or non-predator that he ran into.
Oh yeah.
In the whole space.
There was one.
Oh.
Well, he saved the one little guy from the tar pit.
That was a baby T-Rex.
That had like teeth on it.
Yeah.
Well,
like a baby
but
T-Rex.
it didn't eat them right away.
What is that?
That is not it, Linda. That is a different TV show.
That is super cute and definitely not what they ran into.
That is what they
Right.
ran into.
No.
no,
It was a cute little thing.
No, it
wasn't that
T-Rex.
cute.
It was a baby
Okay,
T-Rex.
so
Yeah.
scene, they're saving the dinosaur brings up a trope that I am tired of, and that is the stupid girl trope. Because that little girl,
Yeah.
like if he's the only person alive and she followed him out there, she's not going to run away from him.
She was definitely not a newt.
No, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like you want to talk about a little girl who survived and like knew what was up. That was Newt from Aliens 2.
Right.
She would have saved Adam Driver's character's ass.
Right.
The little girl, like in her defense, had not seen any dinosaurs when they had first seen that one that was trapped.
But if her parents were scientists going on this trip, they would have told her, hey, we're going to new planets. We're going to see things. There's going to be animals. You don't touch the fauna.
Maybe she's just not very obedient.
Or her parents are dead and she's in shock.
Well,
I mean,
she didn't
even
know
if
they were
she's in
dead at
shock,
that point.
Like, I thought she
Like,
was
the big
actually.
you don't go after dinosaurs.
Well,
You don't-
we know that because
We know dinosaurs.
We had Jurassic Park.
No, no.
Okay,
This is-
Jenna, real talk. If you right now were that little girl and you crash landed on the planet and you saw that little baby dinosaur in the tar, you would have gone to save it. You right now, knowing everything you know.
Not,
Jenna?
no. Mm-mm.
Jenna?
Mm-mm.
And,
No.
and Seth, this is said by the very same woman that jumped down a trap door that could have led to her own demise.
Yep. Jenna, you are genre aware, but when there's something that strikes your fancy, you're just like, dee!
That's the dinosaur. I got news for you, folks.
No.
No.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
It's
is. I have
not.
on their site. It is.
It is 1000% not. No.
Well,
I don't
that
know
must
where
have
they
been
came up with that. We never saw that.
That was probably a preliminary design. Like,
I
it
wonder if
probably
they
was.
just changed it by the time the film went up.
I think Linda's
But
screwing.
no, I just think a child of a bunch of scientists who was traumatized, shit would have been more careful instead of
Right.
You go to the zoo with kids, I don't know about girls, but little boys aren't scared of anything. They'll just look. They'll go right in their shark's mouth.
Yeah,
is that not scared or just stupid?
Well, yeah, same thing.
You would hug a tiger cub 1,000%.
I would hug a tiger cub 1,000%, but that's not big. The tiger cub is not bigger than me, even as a child. And I may or may not have pictures with me and a tiger cub. So,
all right, I don't see a difference between what's on Discord and what I just showed.
Yeah, that's a completely different animal.
No, it's not.
It is.
Whatever.
Linda's like, all dinosaurs are the same.
They are.
And
Linda, you speciesist.
I'm speciesist. Here he is. I'm saying it's the same shit.
But yeah, they they land in a place where there's nothing but predators. Predators 24/7. If there's a noise in the bush, it's a T-Rex.
Yeah, well, yeah, technically it's right at the pinnacle because in a couple of hours they're all going to be dead.
Yeah, although she doesn't know that at the time.
Yeah,
I will say it would have been really interesting. The actress did a good job, but she's American. If they would have found an actress who did not speak English
that would have
and only knew the translation what the general gist was, but like she wouldn't have understood what he was saying to her. Like legit, not understand. That would have been pretty interesting technique to do.
Yeah. Well, what was your favorite part of the film?
I mean, all the dinosaur scenes were really cool.
Yeah.
And it's entertaining, the ride. My problem is the very end when they're rolling these credits and supposedly we're viewing the demolished scene where the asteroid hit. It would have been really cool to just show it turn into the coast and the Gulf of Mexico with a Mexican city in the background, because that's what should have developed in that site. That impact zone was in Mexico or right off the coast of Mexico. So taking that step would have been interesting. That you have some sort of nod, some generic
missed opportunity there to really.
Yeah.
And we saw Denver, Colorado at the end of that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to make up for this movie, I want a sequel.
Well, it might have made for a little bit of an ominous end to the film if you see this city that's been created on the edge of this disaster that happened 65 million years ago, as if the inhabitants there didn't realize that this was a possibility.
Because they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't understand
I know,
it.
right? So I mean, and the fact that despite all of our advanced technology, we would not have the technology to stop something like that today.
So they need the sequel too, I think, if they're going to make this universe make sense, where this civilization, now that they've found a habitable planet, seed the planet. Right. Like, give it some time. Oh, shit, well, Adam Driver's shuttle blew it up because they knocked an asteroid out of course. So let's seed it and see if we can make it habitable for our humans to come back. That would be an interesting sequel.
So I had a completely different thought, Jenna. It was like, I thought this movie was why humanity hadn't encountered aliens yet, because they had just like marked this planet off as sucks, don't go back.
Right? They get there and they're like, you don't want to go back to that one.
Right.
That one was awful. Everything just tries to kill you.
Fucking like Adam Driver's writing up his report as a fucking lizard world. Stay away. Not good.
So
someone's gonna make money off of that. So
you're assuming that they were. Well, yeah, they were. So never mind.
So for me, I had a couple of favorite scenes. A lot of them did have to do with his having to fend off the dinosaurs. We talked a little bit earlier about the cave scene. I thought that was awesome because it was pitch black, and we kind of watch this interaction with the dinosaur through the holographic projection from the scanner. The other one was where I think he knocks his shoulder out of his socket and he's having to put it back in while the dinosaurs are coming in to fend off. So I enjoyed Adam Driver's pain in this.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a cakewalk.
So good at communicating.
This was a challenge. He's having to deal with a girl that when he says don't eat something, she eats it. All of that was just this big challenge that he didn't need, and he sucked it up and he did it.
Yeah. I love the bug in the girl's mouth after she fell asleep.
Oh God!
Yeah.
That was
There
this
were
huge.
so
What was
many
it?
of
Probably
those.
like a 3 or 4 inch long kind
Yeah.
of
No.
insect with big pincers on it, and it's crawling around on her tongue and is excreting something. I don't know.
Yeah, that was awful. The shoulder scene, that I did not like that. That was way too realistic.
There were so many moments.
That was way too realistic.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. Like the ending scene, they decided to just like show us the melted dinosaur for 30 seconds to a minute at the end. Just like, oh yeah, that's picturesque. I like that.
I liked when he swatted the bug on the back of his neck.
It's just
all over his hands, and he's got nothing to wipe it on.
He gets it stuck on a tree.
Yeah, it's like the insect's guts must have been like tree sap because he tries to wipe it off on the bark of a tree, and the whole bark of the tree comes off. Yeah, prehistoric glue, we call that. So this movie came out in March of this year.
Yeah.
But the problem was, from what I read, was that it came out right as the Oscar season was getting going, and all the buzz was about the Oscar-nominated movies, and this movie, because it came out this year, wasn't contending yet. And so it just hit the theaters, and it didn't get any kind of buzz or excitement around it, and so it left the theaters, I think, barely in a week. And then finally came out on streaming. So it almost makes me wonder if there will be a sequel just based on poor box office performance.
I don't know. You get films that if they pick up a cult following, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of fanfare. I think there was a lot of positive things to take away from the movie. It wasn't bad, just the timing sucked. And I felt it was hugely refreshing from a prehistoric interstellar travel type movie. It was like old and new and all in one, and it was good. I thought with 2 people in the film.
Yeah,
it was like a Castaway type level, right?
Yeah.
You have to make this work.
So
I got the impression Charles didn't like it.
No, I'm not as big. I want to see something a little more like Land of the Lost, where they're stuck here a while. This was Swiss Family Robinson.
It was
Nothing Robinsons.
It's about no cold houses, so
one after another, and
I don't.
It was cute, but I'm not a fan. I know I wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah.
All right.
So go ahead, Seth.
Yeah, I don't think like this is a movie that would get a sequel. Like not
I
everything.
don't necessarily either think so.
No.
Yeah, not everything needs to be an IP property or a interconnected world. Like this felt kind of like a one-off story to me.
Mm-hmm.
Which I appreciated. It was a one and done. Here's a story that makes you maybe think a little bit about what if, right?
Yeah.
Let's go back to prehistoric, and let's say an intergalactic traveling race did crash down on Earth.
Which I appreciate for the fact that if you think about it, I mean, when dinosaurs were on this planet, it'd be fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, it really would have been
Even
a
the
sci-fi
chicken-sized
hellscape.
dinosaurs were terrifying.
Huh?
Even the chicken-sized dinosaurs were terrifying.
Yeah.
That
Every size dinosaur
in that
was just
first jump scare, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a whole ecology that doesn't think of you as a threat, just thinks of you as, hey, food.
Right.
So let me ask you this, and this is a little bit related to the link I put in Discord, Bill.
Yeah.
Do we think there is, intergalactic travelers somewhere outside of our solar system?
I've got to think that there are
There's a reason I ask this too. So.
Yeah, intergalactic, I doubt, but maybe interstellar, possibly, probably likely. I don't know, maybe not in our galaxy, but somewhere. I mean, if the galaxy truly is infinite, and it's been around for, what is it, 13 trillion years or something like that.
We can tell, yeah.
Yeah.
As far as
I mean, you've got to
comprehend.
think that there's possibly innumerable civilizations that maybe have come and gone, and some of them would have most likely developed some sort of at least intrasolar travel, like we have, going to other planets within a solar system. So I think there's probably that out there. I just don't know if there's enough of it or if it's in close enough proximity that we'll ever know about it.
Right.
Yeah. So the reason I bring that up is if you want to pull it up, Bill, is there's a Harvard professor actually that just recently went on this sea expedition to drag up some minerals or some rocks, if you will, that came from a meteor that crashed outside of New Guinea that was tracked, that came from outside of our solar system. And U.S. Space Command just recently, the other day, confirmed that these are not of anything that's within our solar system. So there's an article I linked in, and Bill will bring it up here, I think, in a second. But they confirmed that, we did have some stuff that crashed down, and they went out there and they got some cool things on this sea expedition. I'd actually been following this the last couple months when they went out and did this. But they've been dragging this thing across the ocean to kind of pick up some of these things. And what they found were there's some of these minerals or these materials that did not, weren't part of anything within our solar system, is what they basically confirmed. So it gives some thought, some question to some of these things, but it had some things that we were familiar with: a little bit of iron, a little bit of silicon, a little bit of magnesium, titanium, and then other trace elements. And they pulled up about 50 of them or so from this area that they confirmed where these had crashed down. So, could be alien technology, could be, who knows what it was. But it was pretty cool. So they went and got government permission to, they did the studies and said, hey, this is where we want to do our expedition. Do we have permission to go here and do this and check it out? And so they did. But pretty interesting article. A little bit of food for thought. I thought a little bit relevant given what we just watched with the film 65 and this galactic traveler coming from another part of space and crash lands here, and who knows,
I mean,
Right.
the U.S. government has finally admitted that they have technology that they can't say is human-made.
Mm-hmm.
So, and years ago, the UN created a position that was supposed to basically be, let's see if I can find that article, a representative to an intergalactic communication.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they do that if that wasn't? See, if they didn't feel that it's plausible. Let me see if I can find that. But talks amongst yourselves as I find it.
Yeah, so thanks for bringing that up, Bill. But yeah, I thought it was kind of relevant when we talk about, something, a human-like species or something from another area that came down, and obviously we have to make it work. We don't know what another species might look like, whether they represent humans or anything of that nature. So obviously it's for entertainment. That's why 65 million is the way it is. But this kind of leads to, hey, where did this come from? How did it make it all the way out here? Why is it made up of the materials that it is? That doesn't quite make sense. So,
okay. The Economist, September 28, 2010. Last Sunday, it emerged that the UN was set to appoint a Malaysian astrophysicist called Mazlan Othman to lead international efforts to respond to visitors from outer space.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Like, what would make you want to commit to doing that?
For somebody who does that.
I mean,
well, no, that obviously
from a
go ahead. It is to scare the Russians. That's all.
Maybe.
The Russians are part of the UN.
Just from a skeptical standpoint, Jenna, someone had a cousin who they needed to get a job for, or else their mom was going to talk to them really sternly. For a long time, and he's like, fine. He's ambassador to space.
I think he's doing all right if he's an astrophysicist.
Well, I mean, still, there's reasons why it could be. Like, I'm not saying that's why. I'm just saying I'm skeptic. Maybe just like maybe they're just getting ready because the time to have an ambassador isn't 5 minutes after they knock on your door.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, any last minute thoughts on the show?
I liked it. 2 thumbs up here.
Yeah, I liked it. Linda liked it. Seth?
It was an excellent movie, but I didn't like it.
You just don't like
Seth's feeling a bit for Adam Driver.
I didn't like watching it. It was a good movie, a great story, but oh god, I just felt for Adam Driver too much.
All right, Jenna?
Entertaining yet problematic.
Yeah. You liked it? Jenna?
Huh?
You liked it?
Yeah, she did. Well,
yeah, I liked it.
Entertaining but problematic.
Okay. And Charles, you thumbs down?
I wasn't a big fan, no.
All right.
No.
All right.
I could have gone without it.
Let us know.
I recommend watching it.
Yeah, definitely recommend watching it. Let us know in the comments if you liked it, what you thought of it, or if you thought there was a way to improve it. Like, what if the advanced alien species that landed 65 million years in the past on Earth was actually the aliens from the Alien movie instead of humanoid-like creatures?
Oh God, dinosaurs versus xenomorphs.
Yeah,
think about a xenomorph T-Rex.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let us know what you think, and we will catch you on the next go round. Have a good week, y'all. See ya
later.